So if Missy here, she's at the top of the food chain. She's retiring, from what she thought initially was at the top of her game. Then people started going, "Wait a second here." I mean, that's leadership from the top down.
Yeah.
And if this is how things are being conducted, um, I'm guessing a lot of people thought that this is acceptable, or this is how it's done because that's the direction that they were given by leaders or a leader in this case. Or if you're in this field, do you know this is not okay to do, even if those who have taught you and been mentoring you and helping you along the way are doing it their own kind of way. I mean, how many people are doing or maybe doing this inadvertently, not really realizing the errors in their ways? Or is this really like it's a shortcut? It's a shortcut. You probably shouldn't do it, but it seems everybody does it, so why not keep doing it?
Yeah, of course, we have no idea what the water cooler
Yeah,
conversations were,
yeah,
right? In terms of, oh yeah, I got a solution for you. I think the fact that it went on for 30 years or 29
yeah,
years suggests that it wasn't something that she was wearing on her sleeve. She wasn't boasting about. It's the sort of thing that if a defense attorney involved in a case got wind of it, they would have definitely pursued it. I know some very good defense attorneys
yeah.
who wrestle with DNA issues in Colorado, and if they had gotten wind of this, they would have dug deep and found it. So I don't think it was something that was too broadly broadcast within the laboratory.
Why now? I mean, why just now are we learning about this? And she was able to get away with doing this behavior for nearly 30 years.
Well, I would say it's a failure of the system, and clearly somebody a bad actor is a failure of the system. No doubt about that. But uh, part of the failure of the system here goes beyond that, and that is I think the defense bar uh, hasn't done as good a job as they should have in terms of evaluating the test results that she was involved with, and maybe others in the Colorado Bureau of Investigation were involved with. This business of swapping out of one of the files and replacing it with another, that's something that a defense expert I would have expected would have been able to identify if they were asked to review the test results for a case. And so I think what we're seeing here is at least 652 instances where either the defense attorney didn't ask to see these controls as part of their work, or maybe they didn't get a good defense expert to help them evaluate those controls. But you know,
Yeah.
when I get involved with the review of hundreds of cases a year. We have software that helps us with automating the process. And one of the things that that software does is it looks to see if there are inconsistencies in the creation dates of these files. Because that then, if we see a control that has a creation date that's 3 years before the case actually came to the laboratory,
Yeah.
that's a pretty obvious red flag that there's a problem. So
So,
this should have been a fairly easy problem to catch.
and that's what's so amazing about it is that it went on for 30 years. I mean, how has there been no one in all those hundreds and hundreds of cases? We're likely to get to thousands of cases once the 94 to '08 information comes in. How is it that no one, like yourself or anyone else in your position wouldn't have been able to raise a red flag earlier and say, there's something off here? I mean, this has got to be, is this just like baffling to you how this would have gone on for so long?
It's a little bit puzzling. But yeah, on the other hand, I think I need to help you understand th- a lot of it's relatively uncommon for a defense attorney to actually really critically evaluate DNA test results.
Sure.
It's my estimate is it's less than 5% of cases where DNA testing is performed does the defense engage an expert. And I think that may be generous. It may be only one or two, maybe 3%. So, we got 652 failures of the system, apparently. We can write off 95% of those just because the defense attorney didn't dig
Mhm.
into what was really going on. Just, told their client, hey, look, they got DNA on you. Let's accept a plea bargain, right? Whatever. So 95% of those we can just take off the table. And then what happened with that other, whatever, 30 cases that, where there was a review? The fact that there could have been that many, 20, maybe 30, makes me think that maybe Missy Woods was doing something a little bit more sophisticatedly than I'm imagining.
Mhm.
Maybe so I mentioned the file creation dates. These
Yeah.
are electronic files, right? Maybe she used some software that allowed her to manipulate those file creation dates. And you know, it, there's still things that we could look at that would help us identify it, but you know, it, I want at some level you have to start saying, I don't know that I need to look for everything when I'm reviewing a case because it would require some really
Yeah.
deliberate, diabolical action for somebody to have done it. But if she was being very sophisticated in terms of the way that she was hiding these files or not sharing these failed controls, that that could account for why it is that 20 or 30 of them
Yeah.
slipped through.
Hey, it's Tony Brueski. If you like the podcast, be sure to like, subscribe, and press that bell so you don't miss any of our updates on the cases we're following for you right here at the Hidden Killers podcast from True Crime Today. And thanks